So hello and welcome to Inventor tutorial. In this tutorial we are going to see how we could create something like this, a plastic container, and the whole idea is eventually you will be asked to create something kind of like a challenge. This challenge is that you need to create a foldable plastic container. Yeah. But in the meantime, what are we going to learn today in Inventor? We are going to see how we could use different type of planes. Okay. I'm also going to show you how to use sweep. We are going to use a rip tool. There will be shell, and then I will also show you how you could use a linear or rectangular pattern. We'll also look at mirror, and there will be more stuff in Sketch. Okay, so let's start. So I will go to new. And if you cannot see matrix, it means you need to open this up, ENUS, and matrix standard in millimeter, great. And then you go to start 2D sketch, select the top plane, and make sure top reads in a right orientation. And then you go to rectangle, I will choose this center rectangle, select the center of it, bring it out, and don't go crazy with these numbers. Okay, and then dimension, select that, and I want this to be 450, and I want that to be 325. Okay, I think that's good. Flit, and I'm going to flit this by 25. Oops, sorry. So flit this by 25. Yeah. Okay, so all the four corners. Okay, that's good. And then exit the sketch or finish the sketch. Zoom out. Extrude this by 225. 225. Okay, I'm happy with that. Now we got really the shape of the box. So I'm quite happy with this. And next I'm going to use this tool which we have seen in the past called shell. So shell. The thickness of this wall, the wall I'm going to create will be 2.5. And where it says remove face, I'll select that, and remove face, and make sure I select this top face. You say okay, that's good, I'm happy. The next thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to create this where you hold the handle, so it's a slot. And what I've done here is I've created two different types. This one is a rounded one, so that it doesn't cut your hand when you're holding it. But also on this side we got straight, kind of like extrude. But this, if the box is heavy, will cut your hand. Okay, so how do we create this? And I'm going to show you a new tool actually today. So you say I want to sketch, 2D sketch, where on that face. This time I'm going to choose a slot, and deliberately I'm going to put my slot somewhere here, far away from the center. And I'm going to use a line from the midpoint to the center of that. Can you see there's a line? And I want this line to be straight. Because I've connected the line to the midpoint of this slot and the midpoint of this edge, now this got two anchors. All I have to do is select the line and click onto this vertical constraints. And what it does is it brings it up, and then the color changes black means it's been constrained. So I'll select this, make this into construction line. So I'll put some dimension, and this dimension I want this to be 50, and this dimension I want this to be 100. Now you have to make that judgment. You see, if you look at your fist, your fist might be roughly around, I don't know, 60, 70. So 100 plus this whatever this radius is, that's you got enough space for your hand. So this space, if we put 25, 25. So 100 plus 25, so there will be 150 for your space. Okay, so that's well and good. So I say okay. This time I'm going to go to extrude, but cut and cut all the way out. That's good. I'm happy with that. Okay. The next thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to create this part. Okay, this part. So in order to create this part, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say I want to sketch on this face again. This time I'm going to copy this, and the best way to copy is this tool called project geometry. So click once and select all the edges, and what it does is it copies it for you, and the copy version of it is highlighted in yellow. That's good. So I'm happy. So there's a copy version, and then I'm going to say offset. Offset what? This by a small value. So I would say when you select, can you see that? I could offset it. And the value here I'm going to give, let's say for example 2.5. Can you see why it did? It just created an offset, which is good. Now if you are unhappy with that 2.5, doesn't matter. Can you see there's the dimension? If you double click and change it to 5, that changes. Say okay, and then you could go and extrude. This time can you see the profile and from is still red, so the profile will be not the middle but this part only, and we don't want to go crazy, maybe 10 is good. Okay, but for this side, yeah, we are going to create something else. This side we are going to create this rounded version, okay, so that doesn't cut your fingers. Okay, so how do we do this? Now we need to create a circle perpendicular to this line. Perpendicular, okay, 90 degree. Now in order to create this, I need some sort of plane. Now it's entirely up to you how you create a plane. You could okay, what we could do, why don't we create a plane based on 3 points? Yeah, we can. So one point will be that, the other point will be this, and the other point would be this one. So can you see what I've done? I've just created a plane. So that's one way of actually creating a plane, 3-point plane. So I've chosen these 3 points and I created this. This plane is called work plane 1, and what I could do is I could say I want to sketch where on that plane. Now you can't see it because of your view, so we go to view, visualization style, and I'll go for wireframe. So really our plane is somewhere there, is that right? Sometimes this thing, why don't I use this mouse actually? I've got this nice mouse. Okay, so now what I could do is I could go to sketch. Remember I've selected that plane already, and I would say circle somewhere in here or there, doesn't really matter. Yeah, and there's my circle. Yeah, so that circle is perpendicular. Let me put dimension and I'll switch off. The dimension, let's put 10. In fact, why 10? Oh, so I know the problem. The problem is my keyboard is a wireless and it needs the battery is dying. Okay, so I'll go to view and back to I don't know, shaded. Okay, so there is my circle perpendicular to that line. Perpendicular means 90 degree, and I created using the 3 points plane. Okay, I could have created a plane here, doesn't matter, but it's just perpendicular. Make sure that still is perpendicular. And this time what we are going to do is we are going to go to 3D model but use sweep tool. What sweep does is Okay, the profile is already being picked up for you, so you could delete that profile. So if you want, if it doesn't pick up straight, you could come in, say profile, and can you see there's a blue line underneath? It means I've selected the profile, so it knows that's what I'm looking for, and it's looking for this, the next one, for the path. For the path, make sure you follow this one. Yeah, follow path, not the center or a fixed, or not the guided. This one, follow the path, and that's the path that's going to follow. That's done. That's well and good. So far we've seen how we could create a 3-point plane. We'll also see a few more planes. We know how to use a sweep. We will look at roofs in a minute. Okay, and we also know how to use projected geometries. Now I'm very unhappy with this, the size of it. So what I could do, I could go, remember guys, I'm unhappy with the sweep, but not the sweep is a problem, it's the sketch. This sketch is a problem, that 20. I want to change it to 10. One way would be is to go right click and then edit the sketch. Is that right? And then come back and change that value. That's one way. But the other way of doing it actually be right click onto the sketch and say make it visible. Just show me. Once it's visible, can you see that? And instead of gray, it's actually visible. You could double click onto number 20 and you could type 10. And now it's not been updated. Even though you've changed it to 10, it's not updated. And there's a tool here called local update. When you could do that, and then you could do right click and make this invisible. But for this to work, what I just showed you, for it to work, the dimension must be there. So you must create a dimension. Okay, so far so good. Let's see how we could use more tools. My keyboard is going crazy again. All right, so next let's see how we could use okay, rip. Now I use SolidWorks, and because I use SolidWorks they are very similar with Inventor, but some tools are different the way they operate. Now with rips, with the way it works in Inventor is slightly okay, let's see, hopefully it works now. Okay, let's say I want to create some sort of ribs, sorry, Fi-stay will show you. Yeah, those grids. In order for me to create the grids, the first thing what I need to do is, let's say I want to create on this surface. What I need to do is first I need to offset this plane. So this is another tool that you will learn. Plane, offset. Okay, offset plane from. Okay, so I'm going to offset that plane, that face. It's not even a plane at the moment, it's just a face. I'm going to say based on that face, by how much. I'm going to go crazy for now. I'm going to type 100. Okay, don't worry, we'll change it later on. This is just to show you. So now I'm going to go to click here and I want to say new sketch. Okay, so create a sketch. So it's like going here, similar thing. For the ribs to work, all I need to do is draw a line. That's all. I don't have to go crazy. Just draw a line from the center, sorry, from midpoint straight to the midpoint, and press enter again to restart the mid. It doesn't have to be mid, but I'll just choose mid. Okay, so mid. Okay, that's good. Maybe one more. I don't know, somewhere in here to that point. Maybe one more here to that. Okay, so remember what I've done. All I've done is now is just created a sketch on that plane, and the way I created this plane, I offset it from that bottom face. That's all. So finished. Now I could use the rip tool. So rip, select all the lines. Can you see that when I select them, it just literally, it knows the boundaries and it knows the face that is going to go and sit. and the thickness of this is 1. Can you see that? And it starts from the middle and spread out. This will go one side, that goes another side, this straight, and maybe we want this 5. And does it make sense now? And you say okay. So what Inventor does in this case is it knows exactly where the boundaries are, and it goes and stops based on your line. Now of course, remember, we don't want this to be really this big, long, tall. So what we have to do is, if we modify this, the height of this plane, then that will do the job. So right click, and then what? Edit the dimension. It was 100. Maybe I want this to be 5 or 5. Nice job done. That's very good. And of course, I could right click on this plane and say make this invisible. Okay, 1 second. Okay, sorry guys. So yeah, so that was rib. If you want to use the rib here, you have a small problem. If it was SolidWorks, then you don't have no problem. But if you have in Inventor, you will have a problem. The problem is Inventor needs the boundaries. And so what you have to do is you have to say, I want to sketch here. Maybe you want to sketch some sort of rectangle. So this is another thing I want to show you actually. So when I say rectangle, I want my rectangle to start in the center. So if you come and show, don't click, don't do anything, just come and show it. When you show it, it shows you where the midpoint is. If you start going up, now you start looking at lots of things. So rectangle, only that point. When you start going up, you see a dotted line. That's good. So it's actually showing you this vertical line. That's good. And if you come to this point and find the midpoint, there is a midpoint. Now it shows you the horizontal, which is good. Now what happens is they both will meet. There you go. Can you see? That's the center of it. From there, I could create some sort of boundaries. Now it needs these boundaries. And then I'm going to say, I don't know, you give it some sort of dimension. So this will be 360. Nice moved. Is that right? I think it's moved. Sorry. Yeah, so this will be 190. I think that this has moved. But if it moved, doesn't matter. So now you guys know new tools. Remember, you could create a line. Yeah, select that line, go to constraint and make it vertical. Bring it back again. There you go. So select this, makes this to be a construction line. Yeah, that's called construction line. Okay, I'm happy. And then we could do offset. You know what offset does now? Yeah, and we want to offset maybe this by 5, and it gives you that dimension. Yeah, and when you double click onto the dimension, you could change that to, I don't know, 10. See, the dimension are always useful. You say okay. Now remember, all I'm trying to do is just try to create, I don't want this the outside profile only. That's good. Now since you have something like this, I could go and sketch on that face, and I could do, remember, just the line or anything for my ribs to work. And maybe one more here, and maybe if I press enter, it should start. In the next lesson, actually, I'll show you how you. Okay, so I've done now one. Let me do one more line actually. So maybe one more line from there to there. Okay, so once you've done this line, then you could use the rib tools. Okay, you could kind of use rib tools because now it knows the boundaries. Can you see that ribs identify those as the boundaries, and it creates for you. Okay, that's good. But you need that boundaries. Okay, the next thing what I wanted to show you is really this tool. Okay, and of course also the mirror. You find this mirror, where is mirror? You will find it here. There is mirror, and you'll find this rectangle and circular in 2D as well as in 3D. Okay, so I'm going to say I want to sketch where on that plane, and I'm going to draw one more slot. Okay, so slot maybe somewhere in here. There's one slot, and you give this slot dimension. It's important you give a dimension. Okay, you could do right click and say dimension. Okay, I want this to be maybe 50. It's important. Oh no, oh my god, just 50. Okay, and I want this to be 5. Okay, and I want the distance from here to be maybe 30. Now this is, oh no, my god, what's going on? Definitely not 300, just 30. Yeah, okay. And what I wanted to do is, what I wanted to show you is how this tool works. Okay, shall I show you this way, or okay, I think we could do it this way. Okay, well, let's see. So the geometry, first of all, is this. Okay, so I've chosen the geometry. The direction, yeah, it could be this direction. Oh, come on, I want to choose some sort of direction. What's going on? Geometry, I'm selecting this. Direction, I think I got a problem with my keyboard. Cancel. Okay, doesn't matter, I'll show you another way. Then I'm going to say cut extrude. Yeah, make sure it's cut. You say okay. What I wanted to show you was, I'm going to choose this. The features is going to be this is what we want to array, and the direction is going to be this. Okay, so now it's working. This is what I want to explain you what's going on here. So there's 2 of them. Maybe we want this to be 5. My keyboard is not working at all. Okay, the battery is gone. So the way it works out is, remember that was 5. Remember from the center I put that 5. So it actually calculates from this bottom left. Please remember that. It's actually calculating this 10 came from the bottom left. So whenever with AutoCAD or Inventor or this Autodesk product, it always starts calculating from the BL, something. It's called BL in AutoCAD, bottom left. So that's why in this case it just happened to be 10 5 radius. So if you want the gap to be 2 between this and the next slot, you need to type in 12. Why 12? Because you start in counting from the bottom left. Okay, that's all I wanted to show you in the 2D. I don't know why it didn't work, but I'll find out. So if I do 15, it means 5 gap, 10 plus 5. Okay, that's all. Okay, so there's 1, and what we want to do is we want to, let's say for example I want to create a mirror version of it on this side. So this time I'm going to show you how to use this plane again, but differently. Let's say for example you want to create a plane right in the middle. So you go to plane, you select that plane, that face. Okay, because remember that face, the inside face, that face. And when you if you rotate and select this face, can you see what it does? It will give you in the middle. There you go. So I said I want a plane, and instead of just choosing a face, I chose that face and that face, and then what Inventor did is it gave me right in the center between those two faces a plane. That's good. Why do I need this plane now? Because I could use it to do a mirror. So when I say mirror, it will ask me what is the features. The features are this, yeah, or you could come and select here. The mirror plane would be this, and there it is. And what's the advantage of this mirroring it this way? By for whatever reason, if you go and say edit these features, and so instead of 5 they decided to put 8. 8 is not good because it went through the other side as well. So let's say edit features, and I'm going to put it was 5 in it, so let's say 3. I've got a serious problem with my keyboard. Okay, maybe it's time to buy some battery. Okay, there you go, it works. So you got the idea, guys. So now based on this knowledge you have, so today we saw how you could use a sweep, ribs, and we looked at a few methods of creating plane. You know how to use mirror. You also know how to use it's called array, but uh, rectangular patterns. Okay. You also know how to use in Sketch this, yeah, project geometry. And what I would like you to create is, I would like you to create some sort of your own box, okay? And then in the next part, as an assignment, not as an assignment actually, we will also see how we could create a foldable box. Yeah, so that's for the classroom. You come up with your own different type of box. Okay, thank you very much.